Alright, welcome back to my channel. This is Jason, also known as Ominous Prime. And this just got here. We have Virtues. X-Transbots answer to a Masterpiece Springer. And as you can see, I have just received this. And this is just hot out of the box, courtesy of the Chosen Prime. When I say courtesy, I paid for it. They sent it to me, so this is not by any means sponsored. When you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this, you haven't. Reverse side, let's see. Function, aerial defense. Same quote that we had on the side. It's a little close together on the typing. But if you want to read through all that, you can. He's got his tech specs there. Analyze at your discretion. And on the back here, I love how X-Transbots does their artwork here. It's very reminiscent of what you would have when you were buying Transformers back in the 80s. Got this upcoming, I believe this is their counterpunch. I don't remember what the name they're going with, but I believe that's what that is. And then on this side, we got beautiful artwork here. Same quote that was on the other side. And this is 86 MX-X Aerial Defense Virtues. And let's go ahead and get this opened up. So apologies in advance if there's a bunch of cuts here and there. It's just so I don't make this too long of a video for you. I want to respect your time. It looks like this is a correction to the instructions. And it shows that you simply rotate the head 90 degrees. It's a lock and key setup here, and then you just pull the head up and out. And how you can swap out the faces, you just pull the face down and then push up whichever face you want to have in place in the helmet. It looks like that this only works with this particular head, so that IDW face that you have there, that's going to be the one you're stuck with, is what it looks like. And we have the instructions and the card. So I'm going to start on this side here because we want to take a look at the accessories first anyways. Alright, so this is a stand. This will attach on. It looks like we have 4 contact points of where this will go ahead and connect onto. Just gotta match it up. There's a little bit of a paint chip there. For the most part, this isn't going to be the thing that I'm going to hang my hat on, whether or not this is worth purchasing or not. Oh, this is actually pretty tight as far as tolerance. I'll just put this off to the side. The accessory that was underneath it is centerpiece here for the helicopter blade. And this is actually substantially larger than the one that came with MRMC's version. And I may make a video where I do a comparison of both of them, so you can see which one you may prefer out of the two. Everything is nicely packaged, actually. Nothing's sitting here loose. And it's got a plastic band here that's keeping everything tight. But these are the individual blades here that would plug into these holes here. For additional accessories, we have one of 2 blasters. It's actually nicely done. And you do have a little bit of that air that was caught in there, a little air bubble. But all in all, it looks pretty cool. It looks like blown glass. It's plastic, but it looks like blown glass. Pew pew. It's 2 colors that are painted on here, so it's not just plastic. Although this piece looks like it's plastic, but it looks like up here they use green paint. The other blaster is right here. It's a different design, so you're not getting 2 of the same gun. And here's the other blast effect. Still has the air bubble in it, but I think it looks fine. This one fits a lot smoother than this one. And I believe the blast effect, yeah, it's designed so it can connect into the rear of this. All right. Oh, this is taller than I thought it was going to be. So this will scale a little weird. It's actually made of kind of like a soft plastic. It's not really much for articulation, at least I don't want to mess with it too much. It is painted all over, head to toe. I'm not sure if he has a lazy eye or if it looks fine. It's hard to tell. It's very small detail, so in hand you can't really tell anything. On camera it might come across a little differently. Oh, I really want to get to this, but let's take a look at the additional head sculpt. That is done well. There's no paint on this though, on the head. The face is painted, and I think the eyes are painted, but it's not glossy. But the detail and the sculpt is really where it's at on this. It's really good. Then we have his Manny faces. So here's Happy Springer, concerned or confounded. We got kind of a grimace here. It's kind of a frowny face. And it's almost the same as the last one. Alright, I got Virtues out of the box. Underneath him is where you find his sword. The sword is designed to split apart so it'll become the helicopter blade. And just going to make sure that you move it in the right direction here. And as you fold it down, it'll make that centerpiece here, and this allows the blade to spin. It appears to also have some slots here on the blade itself, so I'm guessing this is how this will attach in some fashion on here on the bot, or in alt mode in some way. This is how it comes out of the box. I believe it's mistransformed, so I believe that this needs to be up. There's a correction here on how to store this. It says this weapon cannot be assembled at the bottom of the vehicle, because in the instructions it says to go ahead and do so like this. I'm going to go with the correction here and just leave the blade off because I don't need that scraping along the bottom. Just go ahead and close this up here at the bottom. You get a snap. You have just enough clearance here to where nothing's going to scrape, it looks like. I believe these should be rotated. That. And that flipped up for the lights. Alright, so to get started here, there's some clamps here. It says that undo. So I believe this is just a unpeg here, and you want to unpeg there. You haven't heard me say before, use a spudger. Go ahead and get in there. There it goes. It's unplugged, and this should allow, yes, for that to extend out. Gonna separate here. Fold it up into itself. Rotate this 180 like that. Allow you to connect like this. It's easier to rotate away from the body. I get a single click on the hip joint there. The tolerances are actually pretty tight on here, so I'm just being careful because this is new out of the box, so this is just a me thing. So I'm going to try and follow along with what they're saying to do up here, because this will create some additional room that's needed around this waist area. So up here, close up the headlamps. So open up these flaps here. This opens up here. You know what, I'm going to muddle my way through. This open, flip that up, roll this out, turn the wheel so you can flip this out. Post that's going to go into the slot here as you're turning this out. This will roll out. You know, don't try to spin it out, because it doesn't spin out, it just slides forward. It'll come out on the end like that. It's in the slider, so you're going to slide it down into position. And there's a little notch that's up here that this will connect into here. Move the wheel out of the way so you can see it better. It just connects there. Like so. That'll lock that in place. These locking points up, because it's going to connect up top to go ahead and hold this all into place back here. There. So there's a learning experience going through this. So right here, to lock this into place, just make sure that that gets into the channel and slides in, allowing you to make sure that the rear is basically held in place, solidifying the tail section like that. Same on this side. It has some give, so you can go ahead and get this into place. Just got to line it up. There we go. And it's back to making sandwiches. If you don't have everything matched up properly, it's not going to go. So just make sure you're matching up the post with the holes on the opposing side as you're going through. Okay. Now that we have that all done, it's just matching this up here. Getting it into place. On the sides here, extend this out, rotate it into place. Same applies on this side. Complete the rear. There are gears here in the feet. And roll this out, flip it around. Here. Roll it out, get it into place. So I haven't assembled this all the way, but this is just going to fit on top there, and then you would have the blades. I'll go ahead and get that together. Okay, this is not assembled properly. So what I did was I made the ring first, then tried to assemble it on here onto the center wheel. Don't do it this way. It will not go together, because there's a mechanism of sliding the piece in and then sliding it forward. So right now it's being held together by one, but effectively you can see the blade is actually really large. It's not meant to be wobbly like mine is. It's because it's not properly assembled. If you decide to put this together, because once it's together, I don't think that this is going to come apart. you can go ahead and do that yourself. Once you have this out, it's a lock and key mechanism to go ahead and get this in. So it just took figuring out which side to put it in, but once it's in, it's in. It doesn't spin as freely as you may want it to, and I guess that's the function of having the additional spinning blade. That one actually spun pretty freely, but that's how that would go. Detail wise, so this opens up, there's a couple seats in there. I have a Masterpiece bike here that came with Prime. It's too big to fit in there. I guess if you wanted to take his legs off, maybe he'll fit, but that's not an option I want to go with. So fitting anybody in here I don't think is really an option, at least not at this time. But I do like that they sculpted out everything in here. There's a lot of good detail on there. And you can see that there's actually quite a bit of paint on here. It's actually done pretty well. There are areas that are not painted, so that is going to be something that stands out. This is actually die-cast metal here, as well as up front. And I know that this was kind of a sticking point with some people, that this is not indented, and instead it's at least not as indented as far back as it was done with Fans Toys. But I think this is actually a more accurate design here for the helicopter mode, and I do like that we have landing gear for it. All in all, I think it's actually well detailed. I would say that I wish on the inside here that there was some kind of breakup in the paint here. Maybe like if there was some black that was painted inside there, or gunmetal gray to darken that area up a little bit, to kind of break up the fan that's there in the jet. I know that some people have gripes about, the fists being visible. It doesn't bother me. I'm not looking at the bottom of the helicopter mode. I mean, I guess if it was flying above you, you go, hey, that's not a real helicopter. That's a transformer. It's got fists. Let's go ahead and take a look and see about getting them into bot mode. So I'm going to take the blade out. So I'm just going to slide these pins back first, because I like to deal with the more simpler things to begin with. If you're having a little bit of difficulty getting these to slide back, just tilt the wheels, and you can use a spudger to kind of guide it along. There's rails that are inside here. You can see where it attaches at the point, and then you can use that to push this along here. Once you have those slid back, you're going to rotate these back in. To make it easier, I'm going to slide these up so I have more room. So, opening that back up. Just be careful as you're moving this, because the plastic it's not flimsy, but it's a little bit thinner. Open this up. This will rotate in, rotate back into place. I'm going to do the same on this side. There's a little notch here that's just going to match up in there. Hold that into place. And while I'm at it here, I'm going to go ahead and put these back into the feet. So it just rolls back in to the bottom. Roll it forward, roll it over, and back in here. Pull this out. Roll that into place. And I already have this disengaged here, so this will just give me more room to operate. Up here, we're going to unpeg those, because we're going to need some room here. And oh, look at that, he's got an ab crunch. Okay, for the wheels, turn them on the inside. I believe rotate this around so this is up. Okay, so the next part here is you're going to extend this out. This will allow you to unpin here. So you're going to get this opened up. Now rotate it in on itself. Just need to make sure you have it completely down before you try to rotate it in. Okay, make sure these are pulled all the way forward on both sides. This is for the shoulder. And guide the hand out, or the arms out. So just push it out like that. And you have this post that'll pin right in there. And in here, there's a gap for this to pass through. There we have Virtues done. Whew. Now this is gonna take me some getting used to getting him flipped back and forth. The instructions weren't entirely clear, so I do apologize if I made some missteps along the way. Like I said, I just got this. It's out of the box, so there's a little bit of a learning process to this. But this is all done correctly. The backpack gave me the most trouble here in getting it because it wasn't clear exactly what to do with it. I had an idea of how it would go together, but it wasn't easy getting there. But he's actually pretty solid. This is, once it's clipped in, it's in. It's not gonna move about on you. He's got quite a bit of heft, as I'd mentioned before. This is actually more solid than it appears. Once this opens up and you have this pushed down, it's locked pretty well. And I've noticed a couple things here and there as far as like out of the box here. There's some paint chips here. So it may be something I mentioned here to the Chosen Prime. I'm not sure if this is worth bothering with, to be honest, but it is a little bothersome out of the box. It's already chipped there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other details on here. Head sculpt, it's actually really good. So I'm satisfied with that. I pretty much thought I would be. I'm not going to be swapping out the heads here. I already showed you the different faces, so I'll just leave that as it is. There's not any paint really to speak of except for other on the face. When we're talking about the head itself, this is all painted here, and there's die-cast metal that's inside there, as well as the chest is die-cast metal. This is metal. These parts are metal. There's a cool thing that I discovered here. One of the features I liked on Saltus, Virtues also has it, which I think is a must here for anyone who has a masterpiece version of Springer. They need to include that. Let's go ahead and take a look at articulation since I have them in my hand. You get a full 360, up quite a bit, down as much as you would need. It's not a ball joint, so there's no head tilting going on there. For the arms, you can get a T-pose, no problem. Full 360. It's not ratcheted. It's but it is well toleranced here for a friction joint. And for the bicep, you do have full swivel. For the elbow, you get more than enough there. And I have to say, these are the best hands I've seen them make here at X-Transbots. If nothing is loose and floppy about this, this is actually well toleranced. There's enough posability here to get whatever you need. So these are much improved. I really appreciate what they've done here with the hands. Given their prior models, their hands are kind of iffy, but they did a good job here with those. He does have nab crunch, gets about that far. There's a little break of the sculpt, but it's not bad. It is ratcheted. That did pop open on me in manipulating that because it is tight. You do get full swivel there that you would need. Hip skirts, front and to the side. There's nothing in the back. He gets about... that gets up out of the way, but I don't think that's going to matter here because it looks like that butts up there. So it gets about that far, which is not as far as I would like, but it's probably good enough. About that far back, which is normal for human articulation. And that's ratcheted out. And I think you can get one more click up. Yep. Nice and sturdy. this rotates. That's also due to the transformation that it's able to do that. You get 90, however, I believe that this is made here, so this opens up more. So if you need to get more, you possibly get a little bit more out of it. No, it looks like that's just to aid with transformation. And get a rocker. It's a decent amount. You get up and you get down. So you should be able to get some dynamic poses out of this guy pretty easily. While I have him out here, let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Here he is with MP10 Prime. Or I'm sorry, not MP10, MP44 Prime. And I think that's about right. I think that's what he should be. And here he is with skids. As you can see with the carbots stack up wise. The movie we ever saw him with Prime. But we did see him with Rodimus. Or Hot Rod. That's Fans Toys Hoodlum there. And of course, we need to know how he scales here with RC. That's the official RC. Here we go with X-Transbots 2.0 version of Cup. First version of that did not pan out so well, but they were good enough to go ahead and replace the other one with this one at no charge and get me the 2.0 version, which is actually really good. A lot of people have written them off, but I recommend if you are looking for more of the tune accurate version of Cup, this one has it. I do have Coot as well, but I keep him in a box. All right, for the sword, it's got a peg here that's going to go into the palm. I think some other people had some issues with getting, it's only going to go in one way. Because it moves on me, it's a little difficult to get it in. Well, let's see if the hands just hold it. Yeah, the hands will hold it just fine. It's not going to peg in, but due to the new construction of the hands, it does pretty well. It's a little loose, so I wouldn't shake them around. Guns, though, let's see if they fit. That clipped in, no problem. Take a look at his other hand. That went in, no problem. Let's see if we can get him posed up a little bit. Alright, so just for a quick pose. This pew pew blast effects are going to hit the box going that way. But overall, I have to say this is actually a very clean version of Springer. The backpack is it's a little bit longer than you have on, for instance, on Saltus. Saltus is a little bit more compact, but there's actually a pretty clean look to him. As I'm looking, I don't see any specific places where you would store the weapons on his body. However, there's like tabs that are built into this. So I'm thinking that there would be some points on here that this should clip onto. Okay, if you're wondering how the weapons store in the stand, this is how everything can go together there if you need to. This just slides down to go and position where you wish. Once you have this in place, you would squeeze this in to go ahead and tighten the position of where you want to have this arm. So if you ever need to loosen it, open this up. That frees this up so you can go ahead and position it where you need to, and you'll be set. And all in all, he's actually very posable, despite what I look like has some kind of limitations here. When I was getting him put together. The engineering is actually pretty interesting. I don't know if I would call it fun to transform as of yet, because that was just my first time through that. But he's very sturdy. I didn't feel like anything was going to break on him. It was just a matter of just figuring out what needed to be flipped where in order to get him into each mode. But all in all, aside from the paint chipping that happened on his shoulders here, I'm pretty satisfied with what they've done here with Virtues. So I got mine from the Chosen Prime, as I mentioned before. I'll put a link in the description down below if you happen to be in the hunt for your own. And in the comment section, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them there. Otherwise, like, share, thumbs up, thumbs down. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I'll be back with you next time. Bye.